Hello all. In this lecture, I am going to explain about application layer protocols. Application layer is the seventh layer of your OSI model, whereas it is the fifth layer of your TCP/IP model, and it is the only layer which is interacting with the user. And all the application layer protocols are designed as kind of a client-server process. So client here is nothing but the user who is sitting in front of a system, and the user is going to communicate with some other system. So the user may send an email, or the user may send any particular file to another system, or the user may able to retrieve a file from another system. The other system is considered as the server. Okay, so all the application layer protocols are kind of a client to server process, or the client to server communication only. So here we are going to discuss about five major protocols, or I could say five major things which is under the application layer, or which is being used by the application layer protocols. So in this, the very first thing what we are going to learn is World Wide Web. Okay, so you all know that www. So normally if you want to access any particular site, you will be giving this, or any particular URL. When you are typing the first one, you are giving www. So World Wide Web is nothing but it's a repository of information collected from many points from all over the world. Okay, so it is a repository of information from many service points around the world. Overall world, we have to collect the information and put it in a repository. That is World Wide Web. So in order to access any information, you need to use this particular verb. That's what's the reason we are using www dot so and so information. So it is a distributed client service client server service, in which a client will use a browser and he will access a service using a server. So what is this? Client means we are all the clients, users are the clients. We are using browsers. You know what is a browser? We have so many browsers, Google, Mozilla, and you have different Edge browser, Microsoft, Internet Explorer. All these are different browsers. They are all kind of a software program. So the client will use a browser to access the World Wide Web. So suppose if you want to access internet, immediately what you will do, you will open a browser. So the client will use a browser. For what he uses a browser? He want to access some service from the server. You want to send a mail, or you want to watch some video, or you want to play some game, or you want to do a transaction, you want to do some shopping. So whatever service he want to access from a server, he has to do with the help of a browser. So all these are stored in a website or a web called World Wide Web. So this is the basic architecture of www. So if you see that this is a client, that is a user system, and it is site A. This is different sites are available. So www.facebook.com is a site. www.youtube.com it's a site. So if you want to access any site, first the client will be sending a request, and the site will reply with a web page. That is, the particular page will open. And sometimes, suppose for example, I could say like you are watching some you want to watch some video in YouTube. First what you will do, you will simply type www.youtube.com and it will open the YouTube website. This is the first step, and then so many videos will be displayed over there, and in that you want to go to another page, right? You first enter into the YouTube web page, and then you want to enter into another web page from that web page. So that is site B. So if you click some information, okay, what is www? If you click that video, it will take you to another web page. So the request again, so whenever you are clicking here, it is sending us a form of a request to the particular site, and the site is responding you, the server is responding you by providing you the web page. Okay, so this is what is the basic architecture. So that is what is given. Each site holds one or more documents referred to as web pages. Okay, so all the information what you are seeing on your screen are the web pages. Each web page can contain a link to other pages in the same site or at other sites. Okay, so YouTube, if you take, it is giving you the same site. Sometimes when you click, it will take you to other sites also, other URLs also. So this is what is the kind of the architecture is being built. The pages can be retrieved and viewed by using browsers. You have to use browsers in order to retrieve a page or in order to view a page. The client needs to see some information that it knows belongs to the site A. It sends a request through its browser. So the request is nothing but the URL. Okay, so how you are sending request? You are sending by the form of an URL. So you are typing URL first, you are taking yourself to the web page, and server is giving you the web page, and then every time when you click the particular thing, you will be taken to a different site and the corresponding web page will be given back to you. But parallelly, if you see that the URL will keep on changing. So every time when you make a request, it is given to the site in the form of an URL only. Okay, so the server will find a document and send it to the client. So when the user views a document, she finds some references to other document, so he will go to the other site, he'll get the web page. So this is the very basic architecture. So architecture is very simple. The client will send a request to the server in the form of an URL. Based on the request, the server will provide the web page to the client. So first, then we have to simply see what is a client, what is a server. Just a basic definition. So client is nothing but here is considered as the browser. So you are sitting in front of a system, you are using a browser. The browser software is acting as a client. So each browser, so this is the simple picture indicating the browser. So the browser consists of three main parts. What are the three main parts? A controller, a client protocol, and interpreters. So the controller is nothing but he is the person receiving input from the keyboard or the mouse. Okay, so first when you are typing something or when you are entering something, when you copy paste something, so everything is entered into the controller only. The controller is the first person receiving your input. So even though the client application browser is interacting with the user, to be specific, the controller is actually interacting with the user. So the controller will take the input and he'll give the input to one of the client protocols. So there are different protocols: HTTP, FTP, Telnet, SMTP. Based on the application what you want to do. Suppose if you want to retrieve a file, it will give it to the FTP. So suppose if you want to send a mail, it will go to the SMTP protocol. So corresponding protocol will be identified by the controller, and the information what you have given will be given to the particular protocol. And the protocol, what it will do, it will provide the controller with the necessary information. So the controller will take the request from the user and it will give it to the protocol, and the protocol will give the corresponding information to the controller. And what the controller has to do, it will use the interpreters, one of the interpreters, to display the document on the screen. So the client protocol can be any one of these protocols, where the interpreter is nothing but the languages. It could be a HTML, it could be a JavaScript, or based on a document, it could be of any file, any language. So the controller will use a protocol, will access the server, get the web page, and the controller will use any of the interpreters and he will display the information on the screen in the user dependent language. This is the client. Then the server is nothing but he is the repository again. So all the web pages are stored in a server. So each time a client request arrives, the corresponding document is sent to the client. To improve the efficiency, the server normally stores requested files in a hash in memory. Memory is faster to access than disk. So each time a client request arrives, the corresponding document is sent to the client. To improve the efficiency, servers normally store requested files in a hash in a memory. The memory is faster to access than disk. So what here is told is the server is nothing but a system. It will be storing all the web pages. So whenever the client requests a service, what server will do? The server will check the entries. So it is difficult to access the disk every time. For example, disk means suppose if you want to use a file, if you are connecting a USB or if you are connecting a hard disk and then you take the file is one thing. Second thing is simply if you can enter it in the search field and the system will give you the file, that is memory. So the memory, accessing a memory is faster than accessing a disk. Every time you go to the disk and you have to search for the particular information, get the information given to client is one thing. Second thing is I have stored, this client is asking for this information. See, this is something similar to, like, suppose if you are using a Flipkart, or if you are using your YouTube, for 3-4 days if you are watching a particular website or a particular topic, then the fifth day when you enter, obviously the site will be giving you the information related to the previous history, right? Suppose if you are going to Flipkart and daily you are searching for some mobile phone, okay, so 2 days you are searching for a particular mobile phone, you are seeing some results. Third day when you are entering into the Flipkart, obviously it will be showing you in the screen, these are all the mobiles in your range, these are all the mobiles of this kind, all those things will be automatically the server will providing you. That is the memory, that is from the memory it is providing you, okay, this the person is coming again, this is the client is coming again, so he used to check this kind of information, the server will provide you with such an information. So this is what is the hash in memory. So the server can also become more efficient through multiprocessing. Multiprocessing means what? It will serve for many people at a time, many requests at a time. So this is the server. The next one is the URL. It is a very important thing under your World Wide Web. So the client is sending a request in the form of an URL. So the client that wants to access a web page needs the address. Okay, so if I want to go to any particular site, I want to give the address. So the address and the accessing of documents, we have to use the HTTP, the Hypertext Transfer Protocol is the protocol which is providing the user to use the www. They'll be providing an uniform resource locator, that is URL. So the URL is having 4 portions. One is protocol, host, port and path. So if you see this is something, sometimes you may be seeing some URL with a colon and a double slash. So in front of that what you are having is the protocol used by the URL. Sometimes it will be HTTP, sometimes it will be HTTPS, you might have seen, right? So secure HTTP protocol or it's a HTTP protocol. So that is the protocol. Okay, so the protocol used by the World Wide Web is being given as a first part of your URL. The second part is host, that is the server's address, IP address. Host is nothing but the server's IP address, but we are not giving the IP address, rather we are using a name that is called specific address, because we can't able to remember the IP address of all the sites. So many sites we are using daily, so we can't remember the IP address of all devices, so we have given the unique name to each and every IP address, and that name we have specified in the part of the host. That is what is nothing but the IP address. There is some service which is available within your application layer that will be converting this name, that is a specific address, into IP address, that we will be seeing in the next topics. So host is nothing but the IP address of the particular device which you want to access. The IP address is given in the form of a name that is called a specific address. And then sometimes you may be having a colon and then you will enter with the port. Sometimes it will not be there. So this port option is it will be indicating the particular process. I am entering into the server IP address and I am entering into the particular process. Sometimes this will not be given. Okay, after the host you will be having a slash and you will be given with the path. Path means inside that computer where the particular file is stored, that path also we will be specifying. So normally when you give www.facebook.com, that is only the specific address. The dot is nothing but a part of a specific address. And then if you want to enter into the Facebook, when you click on each and every page, automatically you can see the URL will be entered with the slash. So that is taking you to the page, the path where you are moving. Okay, so the port is nothing but is a optional one which is there in your URL. So the explanation is given here. What is a protocol, what is a host, and what is the URL is optionally contain the port number of the server, and then path is the path name of the file where the information is located. So this is what is the structure of the URL and the 4 important parts of your URL. So we have seen about the basic architecture, we have seen what is a client, the three parts of a client, and we see what is a server, and we saw what is a URL. The last topic under www is nothing but web documents. So I have told you like web pages are retrieved from the server. So the web pages are classified into the web documents are classified into three categories: static document, dynamic document, and active documents. So static documents are some fixed content documents that are created and stored in the server. The client cannot able to modify them, he can only get a copy of the document. Okay, but it can be modified at the server level. For example, if you want to see a video in your YouTube, you as a general user, if you are not the owner of the video, you as a general user, you can only see a copy of the video, you can't able to modify the video, right? Whereas if you are the user, you can go to the server, you can modify the video, you can delete the video, you can do some changes to the video, that things are possible. They are all static documents. They are fixed content documents in the server. User, that is the clients, can't able to change it, only it can be changed by the server. The second kind of document is nothing but dynamic document. Dynamic document is not a fixed content document, but it is created by the server only. Which means every time when a request arrives, the server will run a script or a program to create a dynamic document. Every time it will create a dynamic document and it will give the client the response of the program. The response of the program that is run in the server will be given to the client. So every time the client is giving a request, a particular program will be running in the server system and the result of the program is given to the user. This is a dynamic document. So static document is a fixed content in the server. Dynamic document is every time a program will be running in the server and the result of the program will be given as a web page to the client. The third category is active document. Active documents are nothing but these documents are created at the side of the client, which means when the client gives a request, the server will give the program itself to the client. The previous case, dynamic document, the server will run the program. Now the server will give the program to the client. The client is going to run the program at the client side. For example, when you want to create some graphics or if you want to interact with an user, you will be normally giving that request, chatting under you are doing, right? Here you will be giving a request to a particular server. The server will give you the program, it will give you the portal, and now you are entering some information, you are chatting with the person. This is running, this information is happening, these documents are running at your client side. Whereas sending mail is nothing but a server side. You are sending a mail to a server, the server will send the mail to the particular person. You are not directly talking to the person, and the person will see to that mail and he'll respond after some time. But chatting is not like that. Then and there, kind of a real-time communication you are doing. So what has happening? The program is given to you, the chat box as a script is given to you, you are doing the programming, you are entering the document, you are getting the document then and there. So this is an active document. So when a browser requests for an active document, the server sends a copy of the document or the script. The server will give the script. The document is then run at the client side. It will run in the browser. Okay, so this is the different types of documents used by the World Wide Web: static documents, dynamic documents, and active documents. So these are all the things we have under www. First you need to understand the architecture. Under the architecture you have to know what is a client, what is a server, what is a URL, and then you have to discuss about the different types of web documents. It's a very small topic. So whatever questions I have asked in the assignment is also covered in this. So you please listen to this and you answer for the questions. I'll discuss the next topic in the next lecture. Thank you.